There's two things I want to ask you. One, how in the world do you keep each other motivated to be disciplined to do this? Because I don't think there's many couples that can have that discipline, teamwork to have that goal of like, okay, we're going to tackle this. We're going to do all these things no matter what to pay it off. So maybe you can talk, number one, to that process and that way of doing things between you and your wife to really hit that incredible goal. And the second question is wanting to do this like something maybe out of fear, or is it just because like you just don't want to have a certain level of stress or anxiety related to the issue of debt itself? Does it come out as a state of fear? Where does that come from?
Yeah, so our plan was, once we started having kids, that my wife wanted to stay home with them. And so she still works, but it's not near the same income as before. And so I'm like, okay, once we start having kids, we are going to have more expenses and less total income. So we need to minimize any debts just so that we don't have that burden just kind of smack us in the face. Like it kind of did, because we weren't expecting to get pregnant at that time. I'd been brought up that you don't take out any debt on a credit card. There are other types of debt that, my family was more okay with, but I was like, you know what, there's something else more fun that I could do with this money other than this car payment every single month. I want to plan for the future. I don't want to have to depend on any sort of government program at the time where I come to retire. I want it to be icing on the cake. And so I'm like, I'm excited to, take control of our financial future and just get into the driver's seat. So that was really the motivation, was, shrinking income, growing expenses. So that part was a little bit of fear, but it was mostly just excited for what we could do with it.
And she's totally on board with you, and you're both on the same playing field when it comes to that.
So we are now. In the beginning, it was a little rough just because we were trying to realize that we could still spend money and still have fun, but that there was just bounds on what we were doing. But at the same time, we also knew, hey, if it's in the budget, we can spend it. We don't have to feel guilty about going and on this nice date or whatever it is, because we'd already agreed ahead of time that that's how we were going to be using our money. So one of the questions you also asked was, how do we stay motivated? Yeah. So that was definitely a roller coaster, because there was times where I was more motivated and there was times where she was more motivated. But we really just took a team approach to it. So obviously getting on the same page with your spouse for anything is super important. And your finances is one of those for sure. So we just kept reminding each other, hey, this is why we're doing it. We're setting up our family for financial success. At the point where we retire, I don't want to have to reduce spending or our lifestyle. I actually want to be able to, give to charity, give to family. If we want to go on a family trip to Hawaii, drop $20,000, $30,000 and bring our kids and grandkids and not even have to think about it. So we started focusing away from, I'm losing out on getting a Chipotle today, to, we're preparing for all these awesome things that will happen in the future too.